Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the RemedyCraft server. As you guys can tell from those time lapses, I've been hard at work trying to make some extra progress on this base. As I mentioned in the last episode, it was definitely time to get some work done on the roof. And as you can see here, I've used a mix of black stone, basalt, warp stem, and also copper. And of course, I've put my initials at the top of the build, because, why not? I do in fact have quite a considerable amount of work yet to do on the inside. You will have noticed in the time lapse that I actually put black concrete down here, but then I decided against it and I've ripped it up and I've put black glass down there instead. I do have a plan for this. I'm going to put the black concrete up at the basalt level there, so it's going to cover right across the top of there. So between here and the black concrete level, there's actually going to be another couple of layers of black glass to create that fog effect. And in between those layers, there's going to be things like end rods and stars and other bits of things like that in item frames to mimic a night sky. Kind of similar to what Grian and Tango have done on the RemedyCraft server, but I wanted to just go ever so slightly different with it. I did do a very small mock-up in a test world, and it seemed to work quite well. I was quite happy with the results. I'm just hoping on a grander scale like this, it should work even better. These entrances, you can see at the top here, these gaps that I've got up here, I will be filling those in. I'm not quite sure what with just yet, either black stone, deep slate, or just plain old black concrete. I'm not too sure just yet. So for anyone that actually did watch my last episode, you'll notice that there was two things that I didn't do. And one of them was the roof, which I've managed to do most of now. But then the other one was going to be a quick tour of my girlfriend's base. I'm really, really proud of what she's done, and I really want to show it off. So that's what we're going to go and do now. I have mentioned previously that she's building Hyrule Castle from Zelda. I'm not massively well up on the Zelda games, but she's done an absolute phenomenal job so far, and I'm so impressed with what she's done. She's a better builder than I am. And as you can see from it loading in, this thing is massive. Bearing in mind, she's been playing Minecraft for, I don't know, 6 months, if that, and she's already coming up with such massive builds like this. I remember when I was playing Minecraft for the first time, I was coming up with a dirt hut, whereas her first build, essentially, is this one. She had a small starter house just a bit further over that way, and then this was it. And she's done a fantastic job, and I am incredibly proud of her. Is she home? That is the question. Ah, there she is. She's been doing a bit of a favour for me. She's actually been hunting squid. You do plenty of that, don't you?
Yes, probably way too much, if anything. I've got you 3 stacks up to now.
3 stacks, oh, thank you very much. So I need black ink for my black glass, and Jen needs it for the dark prismarine that she's using for her roof. So for anyone that watched RemedyCraft Season 7, Green's build was of a similar colour palette where he had the mansion that was in the stone bricks, and then his roof was the dark prismarine. And it's kind of reminiscent of that, but I think she's done a fantastic job of kind of moulding it and making it into her own. Proud of you. Oh, thanks. So
it was totally an accident.
It was totally an accident. Just give us an idea as to what you've done and what's left to do.
Well, what's left to do is there's still too much to do, if anything. I've still got to finish off the roof for a start. We've still got a lot of the detailing to do around the windows. Also had a bit of greenery, just to add a bit of pop of colour and some texture. Oh, and the interior.
Well, yeah, I think
it's
interior is definitely not my strong suit, so I won't be helping with that one.
Well, we'll see. I might get an IOU out of you for the storage system.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's one thing I wanted to show you guys, actually. I don't know, have you seen it already?
I have, yeah. You've been very busy.
I have been busy, yes. I thought I'll try and get it done before you got on, but I only managed to get half of it done because the rest of your stuff was in the way.
Yeah, I need to move that. Sorry. I will get right on that, I promise.
But you can see here, there's another turret here that needs putting its roof on. How many other turrets did you say you've got to do?
So there's the 2 back ones as well. So we've got to do all the stone framework around these 2. Because obviously we've got walls to put in, slabs, stairs. And then we can start on the prismarine, which means even more squid hunting, because the farm didn't work.
I like squid hunting a little bit, but it just gets a bit too much after a while, doesn't it? Like, yeah, we tried building farms, but it just doesn't seem to want to work properly for us.
Not without a lot of draining, which is tedious, and I think I'd rather hunt the squid than drain everything out with sponges.
Yeah, I actually have quite a lot of footage of me draining out an area a bit further over there. I'm not going to be using it because it didn't come with anything. I built it was kind of like half my own design and half something that I saw on the internet, and I tried kind of modifying it and it just didn't work very well, so we're just going to do it manual way with a good old looting 3 sword. I think most people will have seen Impulse's videos on this kind of stuff, and they've seen my videos and I've credited Impulse before, but same design as this. So there's an input chest up at the top there, and then it just filters down and sits here. At the moment, I've only put in dirt, grass block, and I think that was it actually. Yeah, just a 2 at the end. So some of the stuff's already kind of filtered, but then Jenny can then put in whatever she wants, so she can customize it to suit her needs.
But are these my dirt blocks?
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking you were giving me free stuff then. Kind of
No.
got excited.
I'm giving you a free storage system so far. Don't get greedy. No,
This
there
is
was
true.
there were a couple of shulker boxes here that had lots of dirt in them, so I just kind of used that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See, storage system and a tidy up.
We were actually going to put it along this wall and along this wall, but there wasn't quite enough room. That one was 17 blocks wide and this one's 16, so I decided to go 16 and 16, so 32, keeping it in theme with Minecraft logic.
And it looks awesome.
This is one of the things I really like about Impulse's design. It looks super clean, dead easy to build.
Yeah, it's very, very tidy, isn't it?
And if you want to as well, on these top chests, you could put item frames all along there to say which items are in which chest. And then with the new mod that we've got on here, you can use shears to get rid of the item frame.
Right, let's go.
Oh, thank you very much for showing me around. No doubt I'll see you at some point again in this episode.
Is that so you can come and push me off my turrets again?
Yes.
Pretty sure most of my deaths have been you. Has there really been 13 now?
We got 13 deaths.
I think
I'm
killed me like 5
20.
times now.
I'm on 20, so it's not too bad.
That's true. Do you want your shares back?
Yes, please.
There you go.
Right. Arrivederci.
Bye. Don't hit me with the shears.
Because that's why I backed off to do that, to wave at you, and then you walked into me.
Oh.
Honestly. Oh.
Slam the door at me.
Well, that was interesting. But at least we now have enough ink sacks to dye a lot of these black, and then that should hopefully be enough for this entire area. I get the feeling that it's not, off past experience just looking at this. It doesn't seem like it might be enough, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get lucky. So unfortunately for Jen, when she's making dark prismarine, 1 stack of black dye does 1 stack of dark prismarine. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio, which, to be honest, when you're doing the type of build that she's doing, the size of build that she's doing, that's really not good. She needs a lot of black dye, so it's a lot of grinding for the ink sacks. But luckily for me, I'm only doing black stained glass, so I can type in black and doing that, and I get 8 for each stack of black dye, which just so helpful. Just kind of means I'm not having to waste time with gathering more and more resources, but we're getting pretty close now. So now that I've got most of the materials together to get this entire area done, I will be jumping into another time lapse, but not just yet. I want to create a mini game. Now the basic premise of this is incredibly simple. You're given 1 rocket, 1 set of elytra, and you got to go as far as you can with that 1 rocket. The person who goes the most blocks in one direction wins. But what are they going to win? I've actually put together this prize box here, and there's all sorts of really cool goodies in here. A full set of diamond armor enchanted, same with tools, there's shulker shells, golden carrots, an ender chest, tons of undying, blocks of emeralds, fire resistance potions. It's a really nice little goodie bag for someone to win. Now, the only stipulation with this is that I want people to record it, not necessarily for the video content to put onto YouTube, but just to confirm everyone's times so there's no discrepancies. So let's go find somewhere to set all this up. We'll set out the rules, and then we'll tell all the other guys on the server. So my initial idea was to go somewhere a little bit further out, a bit more secluded, away from everyone else's bases and builds, so I wasn't going to impede on anybody. But then I thought, people are going to have to travel really far to get this, and that's not really going to be fair on them. So I've decided to do it right underneath my base. So as you can see, I've got this little platform here. I've got this redstone block here, so that's the block that you need to stand on. And then signs everywhere saying, read the book first. This is incredibly important. I know some people on servers don't read books, so I really wanted to drive the point home that you need to read the book. So let's have a look. So I decided to call the game Flight of Icarus. The objective of this mini-game is incredibly simple. However, please read the rules before making your attempts. I promise the prize will be worth it in the end. Objective, using only 1 rocket and either your own elytra or the one provided. Travel as far as you can straight west. The contestant who flies the furthest wins. Simply stand on the redstone block and off you go. Rules. Number 1, Keep F3 screen on during the attempts, maximum of 3 attempts each. Number 3, you must video your best attempt and send to me either via Discord or whatever's best for them in order to qualify. This ensures no discrepancies. I will not be showing the attempts in my video, however, you're welcome to add your attempts to your video. It's a little bit of content for everybody. Mini games are supposed to be a bit of fun. And like I said, there is a prize at the end of all this. Winner will be announced on Sunday the 10th of July. Thanks and happy flying. So in this chest over here, we've got plenty of rockets for people to use and an elytra as well, and just in case they don't have one. There should be pretty much 0 chance of you dying from this mini game, but you know, if you wanted to put another chest down and store all your gear in there or in your ender chest, that should be absolutely fine. That is west, and I've also set up little markers. You can see that one in the distance there. That's marker number 1. I've actually set up 10 of those, so it goes 1,000 blocks. My first attempt was around about 841 blocks, which I thought was pretty good. And then my second attempt was nearer 1,000, so I'm wondering if people are going to do even better than that and go even further. But either way, this should be a pretty fun mini game for everybody to try. I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody's attempts. I know some people are better at flying than others. It'll be interesting to see how people go about this, because I know some people might want to fly directly straight up and then try and glide that way, but are they going to get enough height to be able to glide for long enough? Or some people want to go up at a shallower angle and see if they can kind of get the distance that way. Either way, it's going to be really cool to see how people go about this. In the meantime, while we're waiting for people to do that, we have got a lot more work to do on this roof. As I said earlier, I want to create this fog effect in here, and then we can put the end rods and the stars and things like that to kind of create a night sky. I have been out and got a lot more materials just to kind of overcompensate. I'm actually not too sure if this is going to be enough, but I have got some more glass that I've been smelting down there as well. With these ink sacs as well and the black dye, it should be enough. Fingers crossed. Hello, Mr. B. What are you doing in here? One of the other things that I've just done recently is actually build a bee farm, just a manual bee farm, but I hope this hasn't got a hole in it and some of the bees are getting out. I built this to get the honeycomb more than anything else so that I can actually wax some of the copper that I've got, because you can see here that I've built pitchforks on the side, or tridents on the side of the build. And I wanted to keep them in this colour, so I've waxed these, but then I've let these ones oxidize, and I think it adds a really nice dynamic to the colour. So unfortunately, we are going to have to jump into another time-lapse. This ceiling area is just taking ages, so I'm probably not even going to get this done in one session, so I'm going to have to kind of break it up. So I do apologise for all the time-lapses I'm having to put in this episode, but we are getting a huge amount of work done on this base. So without further ado, let's jump in. Well, that took a very long time. I basically had to decimate an entire desert to get all the glass I needed for this, but it's time for the big reveal, and that is the ceiling. As you saw in the time lapse, I was trying to go for a bit of a 3D effect, so I kind of go with multiple layers. So as you can see, I've basically got some end rods, some wither stars, redstone blocks, sea lanterns, got some emeralds over there, there's some gold blocks knocking about, some lapis as well, and glowstone and eyes of ender. I wanted to add things with a bit of colour to add a bit of interest, a bit of contrast. So as you can see at the back there, we've got the crying obsidian, and then I've kind of layered it with the black glass to try and create a bit of a fog effect. It's not quite worked out the way I wanted it to. Maybe for the inner layers of the glass, I should have done clear glass. That might have worked. I did try and do something like that in the test world, and it didn't seem to come across very well. But overall, I still think it shines quite nicely. I really like the end rods. It might look a little busy. I did want to go for that effect. I wanted it to be quite busy and have a lot of stuff in there. But maybe I overdid it ever so slightly. Other than that, I'm super happy with it. It was a bit of an ordeal trying to get that glass down. It was just really awkward at times, but I'm glad I got there in the end. I want to say a special thank you to Cornballs, who very kindly has done me a deal on all those wither stars. Normally he sells them for quite a lot in his shop, but he managed to do me a bit of a deal. Unfortunately, that deal meant that I had to give him an IOU. Lord help me. But it could well be that the upper section of this build is now done. I'm trying to look at other things that I've got to do. I mean, there's this super smelter here that's a bit janky, and I've actually not finished with just yet. I do have to put in quite a few other little bits of stuff. I kind of started it and then forgot about it and started doing other things, so I will get back to that shortly. But certainly for the inside at the moment, all this is done, and I'm really, really happy with the progress I've made here. I think probably one of the next jobs is going to be attaching this platform down to the base here. And as you can see, I've had this yellow marker out for quite some time. This top bit is overhanging quite a bit and it needs to come down at a bit of an angle. Me and Blackwing had a bit of a conflab about how this should come down, at what angles and things like that. And he's definitely much better at terraforming than I am. So I'm going to take his advice on this and hopefully we can come up with something either for the next episode or something soon. But speaking of Blackwing, he is actually in the UK at the moment. He's actually in Manchester. So we met up with each other a couple of days ago and we had a nice little tour around my local area. Me and Jem took him to some of our local shops, which included Rewind, which is a gaming shop, and he was just absolutely right at home with all that. He loved it in there. So it was super nice to meet him in person finally. And if you haven't checked out his channel, I highly recommend that you do. I'll leave a link in the description. But unfortunately, that's all I have time for in this episode. We have got quite a lot done. I managed to get the entire roof done and the Starry Night ceiling. I still absolutely love this. We managed to get a nice little tour of Jen's base, and we've even started a mini game. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed the content, please do consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.